Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today's a special day. It is the pre-release day for OPO2. I'm excited because the pre-release is going to be a sealed format. I'm excited for this weekend. Like I said, my first tournament is tonight around 7:30, but here we go. Let me just talk about this, right? Assuming you know all the details of what are the rules and requirements of the pre-release, I'm just gonna go into the certain leaders where I feel like may be the most valid. And my mindset going into this is that I'm gonna look at two specific leaders, mainly Kid and Zoro. And that's been kind of the topic of discussions for SEAL tournaments, at least for this pre-release, since they're the most viable leaders for this format. So what I mean by that is, as we're building our decks out, I'm using the website nakamadex.com. I like this deck. When the first set came out, I used this deck to print out all my proxy cards. So for this one, what we're going to use is we're going to take a look at all the cards for OPO2 and essentially looking at cards that synergize as well with either Zoro or Kid. So the thought process here going into the tournament is, depending on my pools, what cards do I get? Some of the cards may synergize more with Zoro, while others may synergize more with Kid. And I want to go through the cards that we are looking at for this, right? And in case if you don't know, Zoro leader card is Dawn X1, your turn, all your characters gain 1000 power. Great card. Great leader, because this applies to all your characters, so a very universal leader, especially in this format. And then the next leader would be Kid, and for Kid, his leader, the Kid would be the starter set deck. So I'm pretty sure that's STO2. Yep, it is. So for the Kid, it says activate main once per turn, rest 3 Dawn. You may discard a card from your hand, switch this leader to active. So you get a second attack, especially if you boost him up. So really, really good card on this one too. Looking at these two leaders, so what I do is I'll go to nakamadex and I'm gonna look at OPO2. And these are all the cards for OPO2. And we have quite a bit. I'm gonna filter this by 60 so I can see more of it. Yep, so that leaves only 3 pages. Okay, so instead of going through every single card, there's a couple things that how I want to filter this, right? So the staples are like blockers, counters, 2K counters, are your two main ones that we want to look at that's specific to One Piece the card game. I want to filter this out by, just take a quick look. Let's look at all of our blockers, right? So for blockers, we have a total of 6, 12, 13, 14, 15 blockers for the set. Minusing Toki, because you have to have the Kazoki Odin character type in play for her to gain blocker status. Actually, I'll have to take Morley out of it. His ability is only when someone is, when he's attacking, you can't use a blocker. So that's 2 less. Let's see, everyone else is legitimately a blocker. Inazuma is a nice blocker with that specific caveat of if you have 1 or less card in your hand, then this character gains 2000 plus 2000 power, making him a 7000 blocker, and that is nice. Like I said, Morley is not going to be in it, considered a blocker. We have Mr. 3, we have another blocker. Oh, we'll have to take Strawberry out of this. So I have 3 that are not blockers right here. And then I have Don Quixote Rosnate. We have Hina, and we have Borsalina. So 3 minus, let's see, 6, 12. So we have about 12 blockers in your deck. And you think about a booster pack, there are 12 cards, 24 packs per box. So 12 cards. My math is bad. 72 cards. So you're looking at 72 cards. So out of 72 cards, so aside from Borsalino, when you look at the blocker side of things, and looking at 3 of them, which is Marco, Luffy, Hina, are your rares. So you might get one of those. But the other ones are uncommon and common. So yeah, there's a good chance you might get several blockers on this too. So next are your removals, right? So when we look at removals, I will filter out and look for specifically KO. We have about a lot more for the KO effects. In my opinion, in looking at all these removals, I would say Vista, Diable Jambo, Venison, I butcher that, and Kobe will probably be your best 3 removal cards on here. That's common. I'm pretty sure. Oh, Vista's rare. That's uncommon. And Kobe's a rare. So 2 rares. So removals is not heavy on here. And they're also, these removals are 3,000 power or less, 4K, 4 costs or less, 3 costs or less. So when your opponent drops a bomb, and we'll go into bombs in a set next here, but when your opponent drops a 10K Kuzan, a 10 cost Kuzan, who's 10,000 power, yeah, you don't have a lot of removals in here. Which almost feels like your blockers and counter cards are definitely more important than removal. Don't get me wrong, the removals are important, but like we just don't have any way to remove bombs. So if we think about that, then how do we get rid of our 10 costs? It's through battling, where I think Kid end up being the just dominant leader in this setting, because Kid is probably your one true source of removing bombs. That's it. There's no other way to remove bombs. And because of that, Kid is just way more viable in this setting. And I think that just speaks for itself. Okay, let's look at the bombs real quick. So when we look at bombs, essentially, there is anything, in my opinion, is 6 costs, 7 costs, 8 costs, 9 and 10 costs are all bombs. And when I look at this, and I see this, and I have like Edward Newgate, 10K for 9 costs, the 6 costs, 8,000 vanillas, those are great as well. We have about 3 of them, Thatch, Dracula Mihawk, and I believe we have 2 of those. And then we have a Little Oars Jr., 7 cost 9,000. These are bombs. These are vanilla bombs. Like, you put them out in the field, they're tough to get rid of. Your opponent is going to commit to a lot of resources to try to get rid of them. So with that being said, we have things like Portuguese D-Ace, Odin, Kazuki Odin. Man, he is killer. 8 costs for 8,000. Activate main once per turn. Rest 3 Dawn. And you get to set this character as active. Very good synergy with Kid. Can imagine getting him and getting Kid. So you play him down. Next turn, you're looking at save 3 Dawn for him to rest him to attack again. Save 3 Dawn for Kid to rest them and attack him again. So that's 6 Dawns to decide. You still have 4 Dawns to play with. Heck, you can put all 4 Dawns on Kid, and that's 9K Kid, swinging twice. 8K Odin, swinging twice. That's 4 attacks. No blockers. That's probably game. Like game next turn. So Odin and Kid together, it's probably killer. Like, yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, you won't have a lot of opportunities to say that, you know? But yeah, any of these bombs come out is like, it's gonna be tough. Just finishing this up, I think Edward Newgate, powerful bomb, one of the top bombs. Odin, definitely a killer here. I think Emporio Ivankov is also a really good one. On play, draw cards so that you have 3 cards in your hand, then play up to 1 blue Impel down type character with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. So you get to play 2 characters with this. I mean, I think that's the meta of the game, is in order to counteract these bombs where they come in and just absolutely try to destroy, it's controlling the board Like, I ran a test simulation. I call it simulation, but like I literally just open up a booster box and then separate 6 booster pack and use the old leaders. I did this for the One Piece 01 Romance Dawn set, so I had an extra box. I just did that. Wish I should have recorded that and shared that with you guys. But what it felt like, because of the cards, and like, you're not going to get a lot of 4 copies, at least in the Romance Dawn's boxes that I've experienced opening up. You're getting a variety of cards, and there's not going to be a lot of duplicates on it. I bet, I don't even think, like, I'll open an old box, 24 booster packs, 6, 6, 6, 6, so four different decks built. I don't even recall any of those decks that I had 3 copies of one type of card, of one specific common card. So at best you'll get 2 in one, and I could be wrong completely as we're playing this, because they could mix up all the booster pack. But if you open a booster box and just, here's a stack of 6, probably not gonna get 3, 4 copies of a certain kind. But if they're mixing things up, yeah, there's a chance that you can get multiple, than more than 2 or 3 copies. So let's look in our 2K counter as well. So for 2K counter, we only have 11. 6 plus 5, yep, it's 11. 11 2K counters, and out of these 11, we have 1 rare, uncommon, rare, uncommon, rare, so that's 4 and 2, rare, 5 and 2, rare, 6 and 2, rare, 7 and 2, uncommon, 7 and 3, and rare, 8 and 3. So out of the counters in this, that's interesting. Out of the counters, 8 of them are rares, and only 4 of them are, or 3 of them are uncommon. I'm curious now. What was the... How was it in OPO1 then? Oh, same thing, 11. Usopp, rare, uncommon, uncommon, rare, uncommon, rare, common, yeah. You had Alveda was a common. Uncommon, 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 and rare. That is interesting. Between OPO1 counters, 2K counters, and the OPO2 counters, we're looking at, they had way more uncommons as a 2K counter. So that limits our potential counters and blockers in this set. When it comes to the uncommon, that is interesting. So with that being said, then I gotta lean towards building a kid deck, especially if I get Kazuki Oden. For OPO2, I was looking at also double attack. So we have 2 double attack characters, which is Blue Monkey D. Luffy, 6 cost 7,000. On play, when attacking, you may trash 2 cards from your hand. That's kind of tough. 2 cards from your hand. Return up 1 character cost with a 4 less to their owner's hand, which is nice. You can clear up a blocker. Then this character gains double attack. So hands down, kid deck again, right? Like, you know, you get any double attack, you get Kazuki Oden, kid all the way, right? And I think the biggest side from this is there's a bit of discarding your hand, so you need to replenish that. So I would look into anything that has draw effect into it. I'll search draw, and here's all the draw effects for this, which is interesting. Blue has all the draw cards. You have, of course, Imperial Vankov Leader. Doesn't apply because you're looking at Zoro Kid. You got Imperial Vankov. Draw until you have 3 cards in your hand, then play up to 1 blue Impel type character card with a 6 or less. We talked about that earlier. Great bomb on that too. If you have Moji in play, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand. Situational, very situational. You have to get another card in play, and the chance of you getting multiple copies of these, not that high. Boa is interesting. Draw 1 card, trash 1 card when attacking, then trash up to 3 cards from your hand. Very good, and it's cycling. You're taking 1 and discarding 1. You're cycling through your cards. I like to keep that in my hand if I can, you know. Impel down All-Star. You may trash 2 cards from your hand if your leader has Impel down type, draw 2 cards. This won't apply to you. Deathwink and the other green card that gives you plus 6,000 power is truly interesting. I think that's the new 6k counters on that too. And it also tells you draw cards until you have 2 cards in your hand, which is super nice. I think that's one of your better cards here. And then the trigger ability is also nice. This is return up to 1 character card with a cost of 3,000, with a cost of 7 or less to the owner's hand. So definitely gets really nice card here. And then you have new Comma Land stage card. You may rest this card if you lose Emporia Venkov, draw 1 card, trash 1 card from your hand, then trash up to 3 cards from your hand. So doesn't apply since you're not using Venkov. Also, you got the Kuzan 4 cost secret rare. On play, draw 1 card. When attacking, give one of your opponent's characters -4 to their cost during this turn. So Kuzan is amazing. If you pull a Kuzan, that is automatically a staple 4 cost draw card. Like, I can see Kuzan getting a lot of play in the future too. But yeah, you don't have a ton of even draw abilities, right? So it's so interesting. You have limited blockers, limited 2k counters, limited draw, limited removals, limited double rush characters, right? And double attack. So it's all like very limited. And so it tells me then you're gonna rely on your leader's ability quite a bit. And Kid is gonna come out probably more significant than Zoro, in my opinion. So I think that's a lot of stuff to share with you guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.